Okay, we're going to add our slideshow now into our master using ActionScript ActionScript code. So let's go ahead and if you need to get these files, they should be in your week 13, or I'm sorry, week 14, and under the V1 start, and it should be on this zip if you need to follow along. And this is on that's on Blackboard. So let's go ahead and take a look. So let's take a look at how we would get started with getting the slideshow. And I would do that. I would start here with go into my timeline, and I've created these placeholders, and I would look at the size, which is 378 by 316, and that would be the size that I wanted to create my slideshow at. And this is going to be the button that I'm going to use to create the slideshow, to get it to show up on the stage. Okay, so then I would start, I would go and start with a new file, and make sure you're on ActionScript 3, and then change the width to 378 and the height to 316. And then create a new file, and then I would save that as slideshow.fla. You want to make sure you're saving that in your project folder. I want to cancel out that because I already have one. Make sure you do it in your folder that has your master in there, and that'll be our slideshow.fla. Okay. Now this is the finished version. Didn't need that file. Okay, so this is our finished version. We'll take a look. We have our buttons here, and so we have 5 frames over this whole thing. And you'll see for the photos, we have a keyframe for each frame and a photo in each keyframe. The text, we can put the text on a text layer. The buttons are on a button layer. And we have our actions, which is just one frame. And there we can see that is our code. And that code is also on Blackboard. I believe it is in one of the units. I think it's unit 12. And so we have our code, and this is basically just telling our slideshow to go forward and backward. Okay, so then I'll do a control test. Make sure it works. So now it's ready for testing. And now that SWF should show up right here. Okay, now we'll go into our code. It should also be in here, and that is a Word document. Okay, and I'm going to start, it says number 2. I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom, down to the last bracket. So get all that code from the button photos down to the bracket. And I'm going to do a copy and paste. Go back in here into my ActionScript. Since I want to go back into my master, frame 1. I want to do it after the image I already put in. So let's do a paste. And I need to have the name of the file that's in the folder, so I know it's in the right place. That's important. And sometimes I'll copy and paste the name, but I'll just write it here. So slideshow, I think it was .swf. And let's see if that works. So we'll do a control test. And it looks like it did work. Okay, so I want to take out, I'll take this off. So I don't want that there. I'll go back into my code. And that's where you might want to go and change around with the X and the Y values. I right now have these in reverse, so it would be 40 and 160. Okay. And let's do a test. And there you go. Now that is a button that loads and unloads. And that goes on top of what's already there. And one thing I want to make sure you guys have that button photos _photos has to be exactly the same. And if you have to copy and paste it, and go into your photos button, this will be instances. If you have to paste it in there, make sure they're both exactly the same or it won't work. Okay. And going back to look at the code. So basically what that code is doing is it looks like it's loading. If it's true, and if it's not true, I think it doesn't load. So so once again, this is the code, which also is in the units. And that is, I think that's it on this one. That's to create a button that loads and unloads. Okay?